everyone. Welcome back. Well, we made it to Denver, and we're here at the Botanical Center. And this is Larry Jackel, who was kind enough to let us in this morning and been taking us around. And we'll have some good video from this. Beautiful place here. We're here in the Japanese garden right now. So thank you very much for
You're most welcome.
letting us in
Thanks
this
for
morning.
coming to see us.
And let's take a look at it.
Blossoming.
Oh, wow.
So it looks nice.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they blossom this time of the year.
All right.
You staying warm enough there? Yeah. Good. Good thing you got your hat on. We got another button for you to push here, okay? Yeah. See it right there? The blue one? Yeah, go ahead and push that one.
Yeah, this orchid collection is unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll go for a walk behind the scenes here,
Yeah.
too.
That'd be amazing. 'Cause there's this whole glass.
What I'm talking about is about the tree.
Wow.
This is Crassula ovata, Galum, and it was actually a cutting that was started by the cactus specialist here, and he asked me if I wanted it about 12 years ago. One of the things I try to do with the collection here is put all the trees into pots made by either Americans or Coloradans. And this one is made by a gentleman who is one of my volunteers. So we matched it up, the grays of the trunk and the grays of the pot kind of offset each other. It's about 15 years old.
Well, I know someone who makes amazing bonsai
I-
pots
that's
that
what I
you might want to
looked at, yeah.
put in a special request for.
This is actually the third pot that it's been in because it keeps growing. The first pot that was in it grew so much that it broke the pot. Pot cracked that probably already existed in the pot. Okay, let's go take a look at a couple more. Tree. It's one of the very first styles of greenhouses that started in Europe, primarily to keep things that were coming in to Europe from other parts of the world intact. And I get a chance to show a couple trees down on the other end. Realize that Colorado is not like Florida and it's having a hard time keeping them alive. So I went to Al Sasaki's greenhouse, who kept it. He's a professional bonsai here in town.
Welcome. Oh my gosh, Larch Land,
He's
huh?
a bonsai guy.
There
yeah.
you go. Okay, awesome.
And
Oh, welcome.
Henry is our curator of the Japanese garden. And previously, he spent 11 months in the National Collection in Washington, D.C. as the first apprentice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
And
great
be-
experience.
And before that, he had the misfortune of being my intern here for 10 weeks
Yeah,
in the summer.
this guy got me hooked.
I
so.
hooked him. I hooked him, yeah.
Well, what brings you down here, folks?
My son lives in Longmont, and
Okay.
And he can
I-
leave the farm and leave the bonsai in the
Yeah.
winter only, sort
There
of.
you go.
So,
Yeah, this is the
I've
time
only
to
been
travel,
in it.
right?
I've only been in it about 4 years. So
Yeah.
I'm a real baby in it, you know.
Hey, 4 years.
but,
is
uh,
He's
nothing
also a
to
ceramic
sneeze
artist
at, you
making
know.
pots.
Yeah, I make all my own pots, concrete and ceramic.
Fantastic.
So I've just kind of gone wild with it. You know?
Yeah.
I have about I
absolutely.
have about 300 trees.
Oh yeah, you're in the thick of
He's
it.
in. He's in
He's
there.
I'm in.
Absolutely.
And the ceramics, hey, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty.
So
good.
we're gonna go warm up, but we're just gonna take a quick peek, and I want to show you one of my favorite views. Then we'll go back in for a few minutes, warm up, and then come back out. And I think we want to take a look at a stroll of the Japanese garden,
For
so you
sure.
can take a look at that.
Yeah.
So let's give you a quick look.
Oh, get a shot of that one. That one's really nice. That's a
This
beautiful
was a
tree.
collected tree from the front range.
That's a beautiful tree.
As a matter of fact, there's 115 ponderosas plus or minus, and every one of them was collected from the front range.
Larry was a part of that crew. I think that should
I
be
was.
said. He was.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
So this is one of my favorite views, and the reason is what you can see through the cutting in there, and you can see the Roman columns, and it's sort of obscured by the clouds right now, but you see the top of Mount Blue Sky, which used to be called Mount Evans, and so every morning I usually start my day here with about a little 5-minute mindfulness relaxation, looking at the contours of the Japanese garden into the Roma and off into the Front Range. Where there's probably some nice little trees up there.
I'm sure.
And you know, this view is pretty incredible because within Japanese gardens, there's something called borrowed scenery or shake, and this is kind of our example of it. And I'm hoping that in the future there's a way to almost denote this to kind of bring more attention to it as people pass through this area.
Borrowed
But it's
landscape
just
are
a
the things in the
fantastic
distance
view right there.
that you would see. And are an important element in design. If a landscape designer has done a good job, he's got things, or the architect has got things in the view that your eye will go to.
Let me see him do, I want to get,
Little gaps in the pattern.
so you have a job to also be Zen.
Yeah, that is my job in the mornings. Yeah, I wish I had a life where I was just chilling. It's definitely an amazing thing if you just have time.
I've only seen images of
That's what most of them die from.
the CEO goes out and works. This is one of my favorite trees right now.
Hard to get that from nursery stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cut-leaf European white birch. So when they designed this garden, they used this one, and then they planted them here, and then they planted them on the outside here. So we've got kind of a line.
So this one's a different tree.
Yeah, this is a Amur maple, Acer Janella.
I have a lot.
Oh, you have a bunch of those.
Yeah, and they're really hardy. They are an excellent. They are one of the cut-leaf maples that
Those 6 are said it'd be some of my best trees.
This is another one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Right over here.
Oh yeah. That one's got it.
I have a large one in my landscape at my house, and so I don't worry about seeds. I just wait till the spring and see which ones pop, and then I dig up the ones that are growing.
Yeah, they come up.
Yeah, they come
under
a lot
the
of.
tree.
Yeah, they can.
I think we probably ought to go back in and get a little warm again, huh?
Yeah.
Victoria, use that, you know. We have to give you a spot where you can let your arms grow back. Are you cold in there? A little? Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful garden.
So we'll take you to a spot where we can look at some more plants and where it'll be warm. Okay?
It'll be inside. Yeah. This is my studio. In the corner here, I have an umbrella that I pop
Yeah.
up and I work, and people drop by and we sit and talk about bonsai all the time. And the beds here are filled with a gravel that around here they call squeegee. It's sort of a sand, a pea gravel mix. And what has been learned here since the Japanese started in the late 40s was the tops of the trees are good to 40 below zero, but the root systems will die if they take a really hard freeze through all winter. So they started burying them in gravel and in their backyards, and that evolved into kind of this design right here. So every winter, anything that is a native is buried in the ground and then mulched.
So are they in pots or you take
They're all in pots. They all stay in the pots.
Yeah.
So the top inch or two of that gravel might freeze, but down below, even when we get an Arctic blast, you can kind of see 25 below zero. I'll show you some plants here. It's kind of hard to see real well. This is a ponderosa pine. Kind of comes out. The best view, the view that I use for display, is actually on the back side. This guy right here is a limber pine. And it was designed by Bjorn Bjornholm in a demonstration we had here through our education department.
Oh, wow.
These guys here are hackberries, netleaf hackberries, which is a plant that grows very low along the Front Range, primarily in the mouths and the edges of canyons, very low. You'll see
So these were collected?
these were collected,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything you see here is pretty much
Boy,
collected.
they make a really cool trunk, huh?
Yes, they do.
They get really fat, like almost,
Yeah.
like very strange.
It is, and still trying to figure them out a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like the balboa or whatever, those big African trees.
Yeah, the baobab.
They're so,
Yeah, yeah.
reversed.
Yeah.
The trunk is huge.
That's a Rocky Mountain juniper back in there with the foliage on it.
So these hackberries, they grow around the canyon mouths in the Front Range?
Yes,
Huh.
you'd see them there in the summer. I mean, if you go now, they're all deciduous, so
Sure.
the leaves are all off, and you would see that a lot of them growing low.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another Rocky Mountain juniper here. This is a Colorado blue spruce.
Hackberries are
Yeah. Here is another limber pine, this little guy. And behind it with the longer leaves is a ponderosa pine in our collection. This big trunk back here is a limber pine that has been in that container for almost 40 years now. It was donated to us last year by a family who was downsizing. A friend of mine that collected it did an increment bore, and he took out a core. counted 400 annual rings on that tree. So we're going to start working. It's never been treated as a bonsai, only as a potted native collected. So we're going to start working on it late this spring.
But it's 400 years old.
It's already 400 years old, and that was certified by counting the annual rings in the coral.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No, that's a nice one there behind you too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that again is a ponderosa.
Yeah.
And there is a Utah juniper stuck back behind her. That's from the Great Basin in Utah and Nevada. A little aspen grove forest. This is a pinyon pine collected tree. I collected that about 15 years ago.
That one's amazing with
Yeah.
the base there split.
Yeah.
James does a lot of forests.
Yeah.
He's
I'm very
known for a
much
lot of
into-
his forests.
I'm into making the forest from.
Yeah, well, you would have lots of prime material to do that.
I
would
do.
think.
Yeah. It's just endless material.
Colorado blues fir. This is a Rocky Mountain juniper. This is a Douglas fir. It's kind of hard to see how amazing the trunk is underneath there.
How old is that one, you think?
Probably 250,
Yeah.
plus or minus. I always say plus or minus 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people try to ask me how old mine are, and there's no way to tell because they're stunted trees.
Yeah,
you know?
when they die, if you have access to a stereo microscope or a hand lens, hand lens would be hard, but a stereo microscope we have here, 30 and 40 power microscopes, and I count
To
annual
count the
rings.
rings.
Yeah, and as a biology teacher, I had a lab full of microscopes, so I've been collecting annual ring. I mean, counting them on trees that have not survived to kind of get a sense. And the trend on collected trees along the Front Range is between 125 and 140 annual rings to the radial inch of the trunk. Real old trees. This is a Colorado blue spruce right here.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
Actually, this whole run down through here is mostly our Colorado blue spruces. We had a donation from an amazing gentleman by the name of Jerry Morris, who was a long-term nurseryman here, who found a spot that a lot of these grew from, and they really became popular in the bonsai market around the country. A lot of people have Colorado blue spruces, and they all came from this area.
It's becoming one of my favorite things.
It's really a nice.
But it's a different. I'm sure it's a different genome.
Yeah. It's really a fabulous tree to work with. Its needles and its size and the way it breaks back buds inside. It's
Yeah.
just amazing how good it is.
It's really the only tree that survives right along the coastline where we're at.
So you get some interesting things going on there with that.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can just take so much abuse. I had one that I left down by the entrance to our road, which is right across the street from the ocean, just to see if it could survive in
How's it
a
doing?
concrete pot. You know.
Yeah. How's it doing?
It was
Loves it.
It was rough in the spring, you know.
Yeah, if
but,
it makes the first one, you're going to have one. Yeah,
But now I'm realizing that it's the way to make them interesting. Just leave them out and let them get
Let 'em
tortured.
getting beaten up.
You know,
Yeah.
because they can take it. You know.
Yes.
Because they're the only ones that are willing to grow along the ocean. So it tells you, you know, the trees teach you, you know, if you pay attention to what they're
That's
doing.
the prime teacher for all of us. Are
It's
the
taught
wild
me
trees.
everything.
The wild trees are
Yeah.
really our senseis.
Yeah, it is.
here
It's
in
taught me
Colorado,
everything because
yes.
I'm just a baby, you know. I'm just 4 years into this,
Good for you.
you know. So
Good for you. Well, I'm in more than 4.
yeah, yeah.
Just a few.
But I know I'm a lifer, you know, already
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
because I'm
That's
so
the way to do
hooked,
it.
you know.
Probably not.
Did you see it?
Right there.
Dude, let's actually go out this way. Let's go down.
That's so
All right. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Denver Botanical Center as much as we enjoyed being here. I hope everyone's having a great bonsai day. And I'll see you next time on Bonsai by the Sea.